everyone. Welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a very special reading. As you guys know, I'm normally an intuitive reader in that I don't read according to spreads. However, as part of my Tarot and Translation online video course, I created a collection of spreads that are now available for sale over on my website as well. And as I was doing the revamping of all of my digital products, which reminder, there's still a sale that is going on today and tomorrow until September 23rd. So you can get 40% off all digital products, including my programs, courses, guides, journals, etc., and the lifestyle series, and 30% off all decks and deck bundles. It is the lowest it's ever going to be. So if you'd like to purchase any of my decks or deck bundles, make sure that you're checking those out and ordering now. So as part of all that rebranding and revamping and freshening up, I was going through the Tarot Spreads collection, and I really got called to do a reading with regards to shadows and light. Shadow work is so important to me. Self-development is something that I've always done over the course of my lifetime, and when I began on this ascension journey, I really dove deep into deeper levels of that shadow work, deeper levels of that inner healing. And what that healing really is, it's connecting deeper and deeper to yourself and clearing out what I like to call that soul sludge. We have a Healing and Harmony activation series available here on the playlist, on the channel and the playlist. Some of the free videos. I also have a program called Healing and Harmony that goes deep into keywords that can help with your ascension healing, such as betrayal, projection, abandonment, inner child, etc., the karmic, etc. I think those might be all of them. But there is one with regards to shadow work as well. Again, shadow work is really deeply important to me, and we're going to be having some workshops when I get back. I'm going to be traveling the next couple of weeks, but when I get back, so readings are going to be limited, but I'm going to have some collective readings recorded, and I might do a reading or two while I'm away. But we're going to do some workshops, so stay tuned for that with regards to shadow work as well. It's deeply important to me. And I think that it's really transformative. Um, I'll just share this really quickly. I was sharing with a friend that I have never felt more myself. I've anchored in, I've embodied this higher free sense of version of myself. I feel more peaceful, more in harmony with myself. I feel more joyful consistently than I've ever felt in my life. And it's taken a lifetime to reach this point. And I feel like this is like a turning point for the rest of life. And I've experienced joy and happiness, over the course of my lifetime, of course. There are beautiful moments. There is magic. I've always believed in magic. I've always been a very optimistic and hopeful and joyful person. But to reach this level inside of myself consistently and to feel this level of embodiment and anchored in, I couldn't have done that without this journey. And I feel incredibly grateful for this journey, as much pain and heartbreak as there was. And so that's what the shadow work does. The shadow work is the healing. It's the clearing of any old beliefs that just don't serve the highest version of yourself or the next version of yourself. It's clearing out any patterns and programs and trauma and yes, it might be hard to face those shadow sides of yourself. It might be hard to face that mirror, but once you do in that safe and sacred space, and once you cultivate that safe and sacred space within yourself, it's like everything changes. And you have community to support you. You have us as a community here at Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. You have your soul family. You have your friends. You have maybe your regular family. You have community to help hold that safe and sacred space for you as you're going through this work. And maybe that looks in the form of a spiritual mentor or a work mentor. Maybe that looks in the form of a therapist or a counselor or a trauma specialist, but you have that support because you don't have to do it alone, and you're not meant to do your shadow work alone. Yes, it's very individual. Yes, it's your inner work, but there are those people who are able to hold that space for you until you learn to hold that space for yourself. And holding that space for yourself is really like the penultimate goal. It's being able to recognize within yourself not just the shadow, but you're bringing that shadow to light. So I'm gonna say, if you would like to learn more about shadow work, If you'd like to go deeper into that, we have the Healing and Harmony shadow work, Unveiling the Shadow, special channeling. I'll link that in the description box below that you guys can check out. But going back to this, I was called to my collection of spreads and doing a shadow work spread. So I have a number of spreads that are available. We have the Lovers spread. We have, it looks like a little bit of a heart. We have the Tarot Moments spread, the Sacred Self-Love spread, and the Shadows and Light spread. And I scribbled on it because we're going to be shifting it a little bit, changing it up just a little bit, as we do this spread tonight. So what I want to do is the Shadows and Light spread for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. And I think we're going to start with the Divine Masculine. I was going to start with the Divine Feminine, but they want me to start with the Divine Masculine. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull an overall card first. And then we're going to start going deeper into the question. So what's the overall energy for the Divine Masculine that we want to look at tonight? Please, Spirit. We have the World. I'm going to put that up here. Can you guys still see that? Yes. Okay. I'm going to put that up here. Okay. So now what I want to do is we're going to pull some cards according to this spread. And the first question is, what is the source of this energy? The World card. The World is all about completions, but I'm getting the energy of an old version of the self is ending, and a new version is just beginning. But there's this energy of self-discovery here with the World card. There's this energy of self-exploration, this energy of newness that's opening up, potential that's opening up, opportunity that's opening up, and an energy of exploring because of that. We did a beautiful channeling. The last Sacred Union energy update was all about the lock and the key and how you hold the key of your sacred union. You hold the key of love and your ascension within yourself and for each other and for this connection. And it was a very powerful reading, especially the message that was at the end. I encourage all of you guys to watch it. It surprised even me. And part of that channeling was that the Divine Masculine is going through a liberation. They're having enlightenment, they're having illumination, they're understanding themselves on a deeper level. And part of that is recognizing that where they were resigned in their life to the old version of their life, where they had just kind of given up, where they were holding themselves back, where they were limiting themselves and kind of clinging in resistance to change, to growth, because they were holding on to that past version of themselves. And that was happening in a number of different ways. That could have looked like they were holding on to a relationship, a past relationship. That could look like they were holding on to a past job, a location. It could look like they were holding on to past ideals, addictions, to past dreams that maybe didn't come to fruition. It can look different to everybody, but there was still something of the past that was kind of like a hook that they were still holding on to, and that was creating a resistance to change. And it could also even be belief. Maybe they were holding on to a certain belief that was in many ways limiting, but again, it was an old belief based on an old version of themselves. And so beliefs can evolve, beliefs can change just as your understanding and awareness evolves and change. And so I feel like they're going through this deep level of exploration as they're opening up, liberating themselves, recognizing that they've always been free and that they've held the key. And you've held the key, Divine Feminine. That beautiful message came through towards the end of the reading, where they're realizing that you didn't hold the key to keep them caged. You held the key to free them, to show them their own liberation, to show them where they were holding themselves back in that resistance. And just like when they activated you to your ascension first, they freed you. They opened you up to new aspects of yourself that maybe you had denied yourself or you didn't believe was possible. I will always feel grateful, and this is still very raw for me, but I will always feel grateful for my catalyst partner, my twin. I will still refer to him as that, because he woke me up, in not in a spiritual sense, but in a sense of I had been very, very ill with Lyme disease. And while I was starting to love myself again and come back from that and build back my life, and I had been building back my life, he opened me up in a way that I didn't think was possible again. He brought me back to life, essentially. And now you do the work. You're the one that does the work. So they don't get all the credit. Just like they're going to have to be the ones that do the work. You don't get all the credit. But that's where it's the union. You do it together. You support each other. You encourage each other. You uplift each other. You're holding that space and that energy of unconditional love for each other. You both hold the key. And that key is freedom, that key is liberation, that key is love. And I feel like this divine masculine is beginning to really understand that and look at things themselves, you, the connection, the world itself in a new perspective. And that's the journey of exploration that they're on right now. It feels like the world is wide open and they're beginning to explore. So, what is the source of this energy? Tell me more about this energy here. Let's find out more about this energy, please. For the divine masculine, please. They're connecting back to their roots. The Six of Cups and the Nine of Wands indicates to me this inner child healing, but it's not so much well, it's healing, of course it's healing, but it's like a recognition of the inner child, a recognition of who they used to be, that they were kind of defensive against, that they were guarded against. They were guarded against the innocent nature of who they were, maybe because life kind of took them through a turn, maybe because life had been very, very difficult or struggle in some ways, maybe because there was expectations on them, maybe because they were guarded against life in some way, or aspects of themselves in some way. But I'm feeling this sense of repression, this suppression, where they had repressed aspects of themselves, and I'm just getting this vision of the chambers of the heart, and they're the energetic heart, and they're showing me of all the passion and the dreams that they might have once had, and the love and the beliefs and the optimism that they might have once had, the innocent nature of the child that they might have once had, being just suppressed into the deepest chambers of the heart and locked with a key. And that's where the guard came up. And so I feel like the more that that is liberated, the more that you're opened up. I'm experiencing that in spades in my own life. Maybe this is my own inner masculine, because remember, take this as your own inner masculine and your inner feminine as well, because you are, especially as twin flames, and we're calling this a twin flame reading specifically, however you want to label it. Don't affix to the labels, sacred union, sacred partner, divine counterparts. But this is for your own inner masculine and feminine as well. And remember, everything is interconnected. So as it relates to your inner masculine and feminine, will also relate to your relationship or your connection. It will also relate to the greater collective, the global collective, and the masculine and feminine energies that are playing out globally and collectively. So I feel like, for me, like I've been experiencing this in spades, especially as I'm about to turn 40 tomorrow by the time this reading goes up. And I'm excited for it, because for the past several years, well, the past 2 decades, historically, I've had very difficult birthdays, because it was all about surviving. It was all about just getting by, and there were times when I didn't think that I was gonna make it. And to be able to say that I've reached 40 feels kind of incredible, and it feels like it's just like a new life. It feels like a new life is unfolding outside of me, because there's a new life that I've given birth to within me from this healing journey. And I feel like the divine masculine is beginning to understand that, they're not trapped in the old version of themselves. They're not trapped in the old life that they might have resigned themselves to, that they might have gotten by with, but that I feel like they're recognizing, I didn't like that person very much anymore, but I didn't think anything else was possible. And there's this energy of reclaiming. They're reclaiming aspects of themselves that they might have once denied, that they might have once guarded themselves against. With the Nine of Wands here, it's also this energy of fatigue. It's this energy of, I have done battle and battle and battle and battle and battle throughout my lifetime, and I am tired. But that's part of the surrender that the divine masculine is beginning to understand, is that they don't have to battle themselves anymore. They don't have to battle themselves anymore. It's not a battle against them anymore, because they were just battling themselves. And so now it's like, this is them standing up again as the warrior, saying, I'm putting down those burdens, and I am going to claim my life. I'm going to claim these aspects of myself again. I'm also getting drawn to how there are two children here, and this feels indicative of your connection. This feels indicative of the masculine and the feminine energy. And you guys have heard me use this analogy before. It's the statue of Burning Man, where you have the two adults. The statue is the two adults turned against each other, back to back, but the two inner children are facing each other, wanting to connect. And that's what's being called here. It's like the ego of the adult is being mended, is being healed, and you're reconnecting with the soul aspects of yourself, which is that inner child that just wants to connect, that just wants to have that union, that connection, that relationship with each other. When I say relationship, I mean relating to one another. So there's a huge potential for healing and mending that is happening here, and an awareness of that potential of healing and mending, both within the self and I feel within the connection as well. So, how is this affecting their life presently? How is this affecting their life? The moon. It feels a little bit heavy. This just understatement. It feels a little bit heavy. Yeah, with the Queen of Cups to confirm this, and I'm going to take the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck as well. It feels very emotional, heavily emotional. The moon card is a very intuitive card. It's also a very emotional card, and you have that confirmed with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups can be a very emotional energy, but in her divine conscious state, she knows how to balance those emotions. She knows how to hold space for those emotions. She's aware of those emotions, conscious of those emotions, and she doesn't let those emotions get away with her. There's a balance, there's a stability there, there's a groundedness there, learning how to ground those emotions. I feel like this divine masculine did not know, because those emotions I'm hearing were so suppressed. Because remember, the divine masculine, well, the masculine energy, let's just put it like that, the masculine energy, especially on this planet, the old paradigm, the old distorted patriarchy, told masculines that they couldn't have feelings, that they were not allowed to cry, that they were not allowed to express themselves emotionally, that they had to stand up and be strong and XYZ. The masculine is naturally strong. The masculine is naturally courageous, and the most courageous thing that you can ever do is express yourself in your true authenticity, including expressing your emotions. And especially when it comes to the masculine, divine conscious masculine will know how to hold space for their own emotions, not be afraid of that self-expression, and that will then ripple out to their connections and to their relationships, where they know how to hold space for other people's emotions, where they know they have the capability of being that container for others. But again, first you have to do that within yourself. Have that container and have that stability and have that ability to hold that space for your own emotions. And I feel like that's what's healing here. And Four of Swords, I'm also getting, are you okay? I'm also getting this energy of surrender. They're learning how to surrender, not to their emotions, as in it's going to be like a flood of emotions, although they might feel that right now. It might feel like a flood of emotions as this healing is taking place, as they're reflecting, as they're going deep within themselves, as they're going into the deep, dark chambers of their heart that they had guarded themselves against, that they had locked themselves against. I'm just seeing those chambers just filled with cobwebs and shadows, and it's only because they had so long neglected the light. They neglected shining light on those chambers, and so it's dark there, and there are cobwebs and there are shadows. But the more light that comes in, the more that those emotions are acknowledged, then the more that light just floods, and the cobwebs are cleared away, and the shadows are dispersed. And the more that emotion can be beautifully balanced and beautifully held and beautifully expressed and healthily expressed. So I feel like the way that it's affecting their life right now is that it feels a little bit heavy, because they're beginning to feel their emotions rather than avoid them or neglect them or reject them or suppress them. And they're bringing that to light. This is part of their shadow work. They're bringing those emotions to light. So what difficult truth must they accept about this situation or themselves? What difficult truth must the divine masculine accept about this situation or themselves? Difficult truth must they accept? They were so blind. They were so blind to the fact that they were not alone. I feel like this divine masculine felt like it was safer to guard their heart, to lock those emotions away, those feelings away, that love away, the love that is inherent to them. I'm not just talking about love within relationship, although it plays a huge part, but I'm talking about love as a whole. They were so guarded against love, and look at the two blindfolds here. They were so blind that it left them in their own isolation, that they left themselves out in the cold. There's nobody here but her. It's almost like she has I don't want to say brought this upon herself, because we're not blaming here, we're not projecting here. But it's almost like this energy of neglecting oneself and abandoning oneself. And I feel like that's what they have to face. That's the shadow to face. That's what they have to see, that this was a conscious decision. That they, or maybe it was an unconscious decision, but now it's becoming conscious. And so they're going to have to choose. Are they going to repeat the past and that past karma? Or are they going to balance out themselves, their emotions? Are they going to balance out the shadow and the light? Are they going to forgive themselves, hold compassion for themselves, and make a new conscious choice that brings them out from the cold? That's what they're going to have to face. Is they're going to have to face themselves and the choices that they might have made in the past, and forgiving themselves and holding space and compassion for that, because you don't know what you don't know. But your responsibility is, and accountability is, once you are aware, you need to make new conscious choices. Otherwise, you're going to be repeating the same karmic loops. Otherwise, you're going to keep yourself stuck. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the shadows. And those shadows don't necessarily feel good. But part of understanding shadow work is recognizing that it's also about the light. It's not just about diving deep into the traumas, but it's also about recognizing your strengths, your gifts, the magic that you bring to the world. And I feel like this masculine has been so long in the shadow that they lost their self-esteem, their worth, their value, their confidence in themselves. And I feel like this is the key that the divine feminine has always given to the masculine. She's always said, I believe in you. I believe in you. Just be the man, the masculine that I know you are, man or woman. Just be the person that I know you are, that I've always seen in you. Because the feminine has a gift of accepting and loving the past, present, and future versions, because she sees all three. Her gifts allow her to see all three, and that's where she gets a little bit stuck, because it's a very difficult and challenging experience for the divine feminine. She has to have this level of acceptance of okay, this is what's happening in the present, this is where you were, and I can see that you're growing and becoming a different person, so this is where you are in the present, but I can also see the potential of the future, and she has to not get lost in that potential. That's a challenge for her, because she sees the soul of the masculine, she sees the heart and the soul, she sees him. And when the masculine is not in alignment with that soul, with that truth, with his authenticity and his integrity, then it feels really challenging for the feminine. And she's like, what is going on? What is going on? But I feel like the masculine is beginning to understand this and wake up to this, and wake up to their own truth, and wake up to their own authenticity, and wanting to be in alignment with their integrity, to be in alignment with their authenticity, to be in alignment with their soul. But that comes, you have to face yourself first and recognize where you might have rejected or abandoned yourself and put yourself out in the cold, where you might have pushed love away, connection away. Not just connection with your divine feminine, but connection maybe with others, with family, with friends, with jobs, opportunities, with a relationship, even with yourself. For some masculines, they rejected relationship, an intimate relationship with themselves. They locked themselves down and numbed themselves out. It was easier to numb than it is to feel. But now that they're feeling the flood of emotions, it's like that dam has burst, and there's no holding back. You have to go through it. And I feel like this divine masculine has been brought to their knees, understanding that they have to go through it to come out the other side of transformed. But divine feminines, you're a testament to that transformation. When you do it, when you come out the other side, it is a beautiful transformation, and nothing's the same. You're not the same. And you can't go back to where you were, the energy that you were in. It's just impossible. It's just a new level of consciousness, a new level, they're saying, of conscious awareness. And this divine masculine is beginning to understand that they might have thought that they were where they needed to be, but there's a new level that their soul is guiding them towards. And it's a new level of conscious awareness. And once they are illuminated to that, they're going to see that where they were, and that might be a little bit hard to face for them, but once they do, they're going to be able to make more healthy, conscious decisions in moving forward. And it's going to bring them out of the cold. It's going to bring in beautiful abundance, beautiful opportunities, and beautiful soul connections, soul family, friendships, and even divine partnership. How can they shift this energy? How can they shift this energy? How can the Divine Masculine shift this energy? Oh, it's too many. How can the Divine Masculine shift this energy, please, Spirit? There's this element of not getting lost in daydreams here. Not getting lost in the fantasy, not getting lost in the thought, not getting lost in the options. It's like it can be too much, it can be very overwhelming, not getting lost in their own mind. The Divine Masculine needs to take action. And yeah, with the Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck, it's like clarity. They have to be very clear and decisive, and maybe even communicate those their emotions, or communicate their intentions. That's what's going to break them free. It's clear, it's directness, it's leadership of the self, not necessarily leadership of others, that comes later, but leadership of the self. Because I feel like this is very overwhelming for them, and because of that overwhelm, they might kind of sink into old energies of numbing out, or avoiding, or not confronting what needs to be confronted, or healing or mending what needs to be healed or mended within the self particularly. It can be so overwhelming, especially emotionally, that it's like, let me just put it off. Or there can be so much fantasy, so much of the daydreaming aspect that they never take action. But the conscious masculine takes action. The conscious masculine is the doer. They're the active energy, and they need to take that first step, and it has to be very clear and decisive. And even if I feel like this masculine is so afraid of getting it wrong, but there is no wrong step. As long as you're in alignment with your soul, as long as you're trusting your heart and not letting your ego mind overtake you and second guess you and cause doubt, as long as you're trusting that initial soul nudge and using your discernment, and tune into your body, and how does it feel? If it feels restrictive, if it feels negative or low vibrational, if it just feels bad, then that's an indication that that's not the path to take, or that's not the action to take. If it feels liberating, free, peaceful, good, happy, exciting, even if you have second doubts or second guesses, even if you're doubting yourself or you're second guessing yourself afterwards, if your initial energy is exciting, follow that step. See how that goes. Always follow the peace. Always follow the peace. Your body is a barometer for energy. Tune into how your body feels. Tune into, are your hands clenched? Are your arms crossed over your chest, or are they open? You know, how is your heart chakra? Or is your heart open? Are your arms open? Are you embracing the world? Tune into how your body is physically reacting, because your nervous system is directly in tune with your body and your energy. And the more that you are operating from that balanced, peaceful state, the more you're in alignment with yourself. And you take that next step, and the next step, and the next step, and you might be surprised at how those paths weave and turn. It might not be as linear as you think it is. And if you take a step and you decide, oh, that doesn't feel right anymore, guess what? You can change your mind, you can course correct. But the worst thing that you can do, the worst thing that the Divine Masculine can do, is be very passive and not take any action, because that just keeps you stuck. So being clear, being decisive, and not getting so stuck in your mind and your daydreams and your imagination and your fantasies and the options and etc., that you don't make room for the actual magic that your physical life, that your physical world, your active world can happen. Don't get so stuck in the mind that you neglect your physical world and your physical reality, because there can be magic there too. Your magic is not just in your mind. You are actively creating magic in the world, but it comes from taking that first step, that initial step. How will shifting this change their life? How will shifting this energy change their life? How will shifting this energy change the Divine Masculine's life? How will shifting this energy change the divine masculine's life? How will shifting this energy change the divine masculine's life? I'm just getting this energy of bravery, this energy of courage, just like this energy, like the strength card is what they're showing me. I feel like it's going to give them new confidence. Recognize that value, recognize that strength. Oh my gosh, the star and death, it's going to transform everything. It's going to transform everything. Not only is the star a card of healing, of balance, but it's the wish fulfillment. It's as above, so below. What did we just say? We said that your life is not meant to just be lived in daydreams, but it's meant to be created in physical reality. That's the star card. And with the death card here, it's that transformation energy. Your whole world can transform in beautiful, magical ways. Your physical world, not just in your imagination, but as above, so below, you create. But it takes active steps. Beautiful. Yeah, look. Oh my gosh, the King of Wands. And we have the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck too. It takes active steps. The King of Wands is a card of action. It's a king of action. He leads his life. And he acts within his life. Fascinating. What energy is supporting this shift? Right now, what energy is supporting this shift right now? What energy is supporting this shift for the divine masculine? Your union, divine masculine, your connection with your divine feminine is supporting this shift. We began the reading and the Sacred Union Energy update. We talked about this as well, about how you hold the keys of love for each other and your ascension for each other. The divine feminine has always loved and supported and believed in the divine masculine, and that belief is what is helping them break free and ascend, and they're going to have to do their own journey. Divine masculine has to go through their own journey, but they have the confidence to do that. They have the strength to do that. They have the courage to do that. Divine masculine, believe in yourself. You have everything that you need to do this, including the love and the support from your counterpart. It is love that is going to nurture you. It is love that is going to guide you. It is love that is going to help you come out the other side of this transformation. It is love, and it's love, that unconditional love that you have between each other. What energy is supporting this shift? It is the love between you both. We're going to end with this, with the Divine Masculine reading, because I feel like it's a powerful one. And we're going to have part 2 for the Divine Feminine in a separate reading, just so we can digest all of this. But this feels powerful, it feels beautiful, and it feels like it gives us a deeper glimpse into the Divine Masculine and their energy and how they're changing and evolving, even if we don't quite see it. Even if we don't quite see it, there's an energy shift that is happening, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So take it as it resonates for you. Take it as it resonates for your connection, whether this is somebody that you know or somebody that you've yet to meet. This is a masculine energy that is rising. This is a masculine energy that is transforming. And this is the masculine energy that is transforming on the planet as a whole. And it is beautiful, conscious, sacred energy. Beautiful. All right, we'll be back, sending lots of love and lots of light.